Hello everyone, how are you? Okay, so now that we have finished from the lecture, the live session, and from solving the worksheet, it's time for you to check your answers individually and one by one. Okay, are you ready? Let's start. This is worksheet 7, the solution for worksheet 7, in which we covered the new lesson, Where's Brownie, with its new vocabulary words, the genre and comprehension skill, and also we covered the phonics contractions. Next week we're going to cover grammar and writing. Let's start with the solution. Vocabulary part A. Complete each sentence with a stable vocabulary word. Number one, the artist was when the fruit she was painting disappeared. The artist was perplexed when the fruit she was painting disappeared. Two, the elephant, the crowd with its tricks. What would the elephant do to the crowd when it makes its tricks? So the elephant astounded the crowd. Three, the menu gave a description of each item. What does the menu give? The menu gives the description of dishes, the ingredients, how it's cooked, for example. So the menu gave a precise description. For the family was about how the machine was used. So the family wasn't sure about how to use a certain machine. We can say that the family was inquisitive. 5. Tom and Mary gave exactly the same answers on the test, which made the teacher. So when two students give the exact same answers on a test, the teacher would feel suspicious. She might suspect that they have cheated. 6. The pirate, his treasure in an old cabin. What does the pirate do to the treasure that he finds, for example? The pirate concealed his treasure. 7. The instructor usually asks us our answers to check our understanding. What do I do every time you give me a question? I ask you why or why not. That's right. So I'm asking for interpretation. So the instructor usually asks us to interpret our answers to check our understanding. When you think about it again. When we think about something again, we reconsider. Okay, so when you reconsider something, you think about it again. Okay, now we move to the reading comprehension part, the questions that are based on our story, our lesson. Answer the questions using complete sentences of your own based on the story Where's Brownie? Number one, what made Alex feel suspicious when she entered the room? What made her feel suspicious? So there was something happening with the characters in the room that made Alex feel suspicious. Alex felt suspicious since Sam tried to hide the empty terrarium and began texting with Evan on handheld devices. So the actions that Evan and Sam did made Alex feel suspicious. 2. List the three pieces of evidence that help the characters find the brownie. So, three pieces of evidence help the characters find the brownie. Okay, what are these evidence? Evidence one: chameleons prefer running water, so they started looking for where could they find running water. Evidence two: chameleons like trees. They like trees, so they searched for places where there were trees. Evidence three: chameleons change color to match their environment. Okay, so these are the three pieces of evidence. Third one, identify the genre of the text. Justify your answer. When we say justify your answer, you must give at least one feature of the genre. So what is the genre of the text here? The text is a mystery play. Since it centers on a mystery that must be solved, this is one feature, and contains scenes, details, and stage direction. So since it centers on a mystery that must be solved and contains scenes, setting details, and stage directions, we can say that the text is a mystery play. Part C, fill in the chart briefly with some story elements. These are just some of the story elements, okay? And I divided the chart into scenes according to scenes in the book, scene 1 and scene 2. In each scene, I have to give the time, the place, and the characters. Scene one, time for scene one. It happened when did it happen? Scene one, after school. The place, two-person bedroom. It happened at the bedroom. And the characters, who are the characters for scene one? Alex, Sam, and Evan. Scene 2. Let's see, when did scene 2 happen or occur? After school also. Place, but the place here changed. If you notice, it happened at the lobby of the apartment, and the characters here, they increased by 2 characters, so they became Alex, Sam, Evan, Nick, and Nikki. Okay, now we move to the part related to the comprehension skill, which is about the point of view. Exercise D says, determine the point of view used in each of the following paragraphs. Justify your answers. We have to justify our answers, okay? Let's read paragraph 1. Do you want to take the shot, Vince? The coach asked me. Directly you notice that here I have the pronoun, object pronoun, me, okay? And it's outside the quotation. Let's continue. I looked into his eyes. Also, I. So, okay, we can say here that the point of view could be first person, but let's continue. They were ice cold blue. His face did not betray his feelings, but I knew that he meant it. I do, coach. I can make the shot, I replied. Also, outside the quotations, I'm repeating to use the pronoun I. He nodded and then put his hand on top of my head. I don't know how long any of us will live, but we will all remember what happens next for as long as we do. He then slapped me on the back. The referee blew the whistle, and it was time to find out just how I would be remembered. So, these pronouns are enough to show me that the narrator is a character in the story. That's right. Okay, so we can say that the paragraph is written from the first person point of view. So we write exactly, the story is written from the first person point of view since the narrator is a character of the story and he uses pronouns such as I and us. Okay? We can also add me. The justification starts from since the narrator here, without a justification, you will lose marks in the quiz. Pay attention. Let's continue. Paragraph 2. Odin brushed the snowflakes of his sword and replied. Okay, in the first part, outside the quotations, we find the pronoun his. Okay, let's continue. I will never accept a peace treaty from the Hamburgs. Okay, they are our sworn enemies, and so long as I can hold a sword, I will point it at Hamburgs. Here inside the quotations, okay, it cannot give me an exact or a precise answer. So we have to focus on the pronouns outside the quotation. Epi looked at him. Okay, so we also have him and wrinkled her face. Hair. A long moment passed in silence. Snow continued to fall from the sky. Finally, Epi responded, but Odin, think about what peace might mean for the children. Odin sneered and said, but made no further comment. Epi drew her weapon. So most of the pronouns here used are his, him, her. Okay, and if you notice, the narrator is not talking about himself, he's talking about other characters. Okay, so the narrator is not a character in the story, and most of the pronouns used his, him, her. So the point of view here is third person. The story is written from the third person point of view since the narrator is not a character of the story and he uses pronouns such as he, her, and they. You might say, how did I know that the author is a boy and I used he? So I didn't know that the author is a boy, but we mainly use he when we don't know if it's a female or a male. So we use he. Okay? So this is how we must write the answer. Now we reach the last part in the worksheet, which is the phonics part. Combine the two words to make a contraction. Write the spelling word on the line. I have, it must become I've. So we write the first word as it is, I will put apostrophe, and then we write the last two letters from have. I've. Could not, couldn't. So here when we have not, we have to write the first word as it is. We add an to it, then we put apostrophe, then we add the T when it's negative. You are, your. Okay, so we remove the A from R, we put apostrophe instead of it, then we write the last two letters. Was not, wasn't. The same for not. We will. Okay, so we just add the last two letters of will. They are there. What is what's? Okay. We remove I, we put apostrophe, and then we add the S. You have, you've. Should not, shouldn't. He would, he'd. Okay. From would we just add the D. Is not, isn't. We are, we're. Would not, wouldn't. We have, we've. She would, she. Okay. So, guys, thank you for listening. I think that everything is clear for you now. It's time for you to revise the worksheet. Get well prepared for the quiz tomorrow and stay safe. Bye bye.